Hello, campers. Let's do a reading. I'm feeling like alignment reading today. I'm feeling like alignment message from the universe. So let's do alignment reading. We're gonna start from tapping into your energy. How are you feeling? What's going on in your life? So you know this is your reading, and then we're gonna feel into what is it that you really need guidance on this collective. So let's start. What's the energy around you? How are you feeling this collective? What's your energy? What? Too many. That is way too many. Something flipped? No. Alright. Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles. That's a really nice energy. I'm really looking at her yellow dress, so maybe you've recently been drawn to color yellow. Maybe yellow flowers are coming to my mind, so maybe you also like yellow flowers. Maybe you have yellow flowers in your garden or somewhere near your house. It's coming to my mind, so it may be a detail for some of you. Yellow is solar plexus, strength of the solar plexus, and this is a card of success and independence, right? So it's a nice energy to sit in. So maybe you've been feeling recently like, you know, you're in a good place in life, you're independent, you're where you want to be in life, you're thriving. I'm hearing as well self-confidence. Maybe something boosts your self-confidence recently. I'm hearing as well. Let me do 3 more for your first row. Okay, what do we have? We have 9 of Swords. We have 9 of Swords, King of Wands, and the Hierophant. It's funny that I literally just said that maybe something boosts your confidence. What I'm hearing now with that 9 of Swords is that overall this collective, you would be sitting in a place of confidence, right? So you know your worth, you know who you are. You would be sitting in your strength, sitting in your independence, right? In your abundance as well. I'm hearing, but perhaps something recently happened. We're going to tap into that in more detail. We'll do oracle in a moment, but maybe recently something happened that undermined or tried to undermine your security, your self-esteem, your self-worth. Maybe something that caused a couple of sleepless nights, couple of moments of doubt, moments of anxiety. But I feel like this collective, you would, I don't want to say power through, because it's not exactly the right energy, power through. It's more of a, because you've already built your confidence, because you already know who you are, because you feel like you are in your strength and your independence, like whatever happens, it's sort of this beautiful mentality of whatever will happen, I remind myself that this too shall pass. Right? That this too shall pass, that I am in my strength, that I've built my kingdom, that I've built my life. It's my effort. It's my strength. So it will pass. It's like when the emotion comes, when we're truly mature, we know that, you know, the wheel is constantly turning, right? What goes up must go down. Things happen, life happens. We just have to sit in our strength and believe in ourselves more than anything. So I feel like whatever happened, it didn't manage to tame your fire for a very long time, which is beautiful. But I'm hearing as well with that Hierophant that maybe you are taking a little bit more I'm feeling the energy. I don't know how to describe this to you guys. It's like taking things slow, taking things with cautiously optimistic, I'm hearing, right? It's like, this too shall pass. You will find a solution for every problem, for every mindset, for every emotion that rises. But in the same time, maybe you're taking it a little bit slower recently. Let's continue. Let's see what else pops up. In your energy, justice. We're going to tap into Oracle in a moment to see exactly what happened, because I see there was something that disrupted your peace recently. Woo! Hold on. You guys, I was struggling to pick it up, which is a total sign. I was like literally, I couldn't pick it up from the floor. 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands. One more. Six of Swords. I feel something happened, this collective. You would be overall, when you look at your life, you would be in a moment of life where you feel somehow stable, right? You're self-sufficient, you're independent, you're strong, you're sitting in your abundance. There's nothing physically lacking in your life. You would be living a good life, but I feel like something recently disrupted this state of security, of inner power, of that solar plexus power, right? Undermined your security. And perhaps as it happened, I feel this collective, you were consciously observing. So maybe even you thought that this must be a lesson, that this must be happening for a reason. Maybe you even thought that this is some sort of a karma that you have to even out. Everything happens for a reason. When we sit in this mindset, it really embody this mindset is very helpful to understand and to have this belief that everything must happen for a reason, and I must find a lesson in whatever comes towards me. And I feel like despite the fact that you carried that heaviness from whatever is it that happened in your heart, you still managed to go on with your life, to see the positive, to maybe I'm hearing as well to rely, or maybe you have a good support system, good friends, good family that you can rely on, even if you don't necessarily share all your problems, but there's always someone to spend time with, to cheer you up, to have some quality time with. And the biggest thing that I'm hearing with all this situation, perhaps it's this, you guys know that I talk about this all the time, that we're sitting in this sort of a closure in between cycles. We're closing 9-year cycle, we're opening new 9-year cycle. I've done a video, you can find it on my channel, about how the energies are shifting currently, that started from the new moon that happened on Sunday. So before Sunday, it was a couple of days, week, that we really were sitting in the place of big lessons, closing some karmic lessons, closing some karmic connections, closing some soul contracts. And I feel, and what I always say to you guys, the biggest indication of how we grow is when same or similar things are happening in our life, but we see a huge difference in how we accept them, in how we react. So whatever came to you and whatever happened, you would notice that you reacted differently than you would have maybe in the past. I'm hearing you were someone quite hot-headed, so you would be quite reactive to any challenge, to any disagreement, maybe any resistance. Maybe I feel like there is another person involved in this situation, but maybe in the past you were quite reactive, again hot-headed, and now you find yourself reacting, moving away from those ways, moving away to those softer side and a calmer side of you, not reacting but actually responding, not reacting when you are on a high wave of emotion, but allowing yourself to sort of see into a situation to calm down, releasing the victim mentality, actually seeing a lesson. And it's a very important thing, you guys, and it's such an incredibly important quality to develop. Life happens, things happen, right? No matter how much we think that we surround ourselves with people who are mature and spiritual and respectful, in the end, we're all just humans. We all, until we have this physical body, we sometimes, even if it's momentarily, we sometimes surrender to the emotion of the ego. But what really matters is how we consciously react, how we choose to process our emotion before we respond to someone, before we communicate, and also how we communicate. Someone who is mature, someone who dares to call themselves spiritual, is very much aware of the influence we have on people around us. Okay, so I feel something, I'm going through something, even if it's challenging, I want to communicate this to another person, but my communication is going to influence them. So the question is, how? What will be the channel of the communication? How will I communicate it? Where they are on their journey to actually accept what I'm about to communicate. That consciousness of our choices, it's what ultimately proves that we truly are spiritual, because it's also easy to feel something and throw it on another person in that sort of a immature, hot-headed way. But true empathy is something that we embody only if we are capable of thinking about all these things. What kind of a chain reaction will I start with what I'm about to say and what I'm about to communicate to this person, considering who I am, who they are, who we are to each other, where we are on our journey, what capacity they have to understand what I'm about to say, which is beautiful. It shows that you actually have reached a maturity to not respond in a hot-headed way, in an egoistic way, thinking this is how I feel and I want to communicate it, but just choose to change, choose to be another person. This is how we prove to the universe that we've learned the lessons from the past, that we've broken a pattern from the past, that we now are improved version of ourselves, ready for a new chapter and for new challenges. I'm guided to do one more, and then we're gonna get some details of what actually happened for a better understanding. Okay, we have Three of Swords and we have Death. So whatever happened, it broke your heart. It caused a heavy emotion within you, but it also initiated some sort of a transformation. A huge, big, fat test, to be honest. That's what I'm hearing and that's what I'm sensing. And I'm also guided to say that when we talk about heartbreak, we sometimes forget that it's not just a romantical partner that can break our heart. Our friends can break our hearts. People we have in our life, we collaborate with, people who we hold dear, people who we hold on a pedestal, our family members, whoever is important to our heart, as they disappoint us or as they cause a disruption in our life, they break our heart. They break our heart. I feel that, again, that peace and that self of confidence of I know who I am, I believe in myself, was momentarily disrupted within this collective by someone that but by something. There's a reason I said someone. I wanted to say something that needed to happen, part of your karmic wheel, that broke your heart, but you emerge on the other end stronger. You knew that this would pass. Whatever emotion you were sitting at, you knew that this emotion would pass. You didn't allow this emotion to cause a mature response within you. The devil. We have the devil. And I feel this is exactly that hot-headed approach, that shadow. I feel it's something that, when we talk about working with our shadows, right, and working with our wounds, as we start this journey, most people don't realize that we act on an automated patterns, behavioral patterns, right? And people usually explain this saying, this is just who she is. She's hot-headed, she has temper, she's this, she's too emotional, right? Or he. Without realizing that these are just, yes, it's part of who we are, how we react to wounds, but these are just reactions to the wounds that were created at one point of our life within us. So no one is just hot-headed. No one is just aggressive. No one is just reactive. This is wounding that is being activated through a trigger, right? And I feel this collective, there may have been a moment in your life when you've actually realized that this was a pattern. It wasn't that just you had temper and you were passionate, but you actually were reactive in a dysregulated way. I feel like that's something that you have been working on. And I feel that it's been burdening you, because people who are reactive, aggressive, who tend to just lash out, respond without really thinking and considering the other person in the equation, they often suffer themselves, because without thinking, they say something and you hear what you say as well. And then you have to suffer the consequence, right? And oftentimes when we are wounded and when we are reactive, we don't have the maturity to then come forth and apologize and to admit, I'm sorry, I've overreacted, I don't know why I lash out on you, right? So people who are hot-headed, they usually do it, and then they retreat sort of in bit of a shame kind of that's what I'm hearing. So I feel you were aware that this was a shadow. I feel you were aware for a while that it's been burdening you, and it's been burdening maybe as well not only your relationships but also how you feel about yourself. It's that self-control of our emotion. 3 years from today, drop down. Maybe maybe something happened 3 years ago. Maybe you started this journey 3 years ago. Maybe it's a sign for some of you. We have Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, it's sort of a double confirmation. You would be now in your place of they stopped me before I wanted to say peace. It's not yet complete inner peace and complete, right? But you now understand that being hot-headed makes no sense. We build things slow and steady. We build things sometimes allowing ourselves to cool down, allowing situation to cool down, to consider possible consequences and implications of what we're about to do and what we're about to say. It's this really full state of awareness. It's a very mature thing. You would be surprised how many people don't master that even when they're on this journey for many years and they call themselves spiritualists, and then they caught in an emotion and bam, they hit it on you without really thinking what kind of a chain reaction it will create. So it's really beautiful energy that from that hot-headed person, despite whatever heartbreak and whatever challenge they hit, you were able to sort of cool down, to allow the wave to go down before you take an action and before you decide what is it that you want to say or do, and how do you want to proceed with the situation. I want to do some oracles to kind of confirm. So let's maybe do that. Hold on, let me just move this a little bit up. And let's do some oracle to confirm what actually happened, what actually traveled. Hold on, I want to clean my table. I cannot make up my mind today. But maybe you, it feels like I wanted to organize. I wanted to organize my mind. So maybe you're sitting in this mindset as well before anything happens. You know that you want to be mature enough to organize your mind and your thoughts. Okay. What transpired? Let's confirm. What transpired? Uninterested. Disagreements. Hold on. Inside scoop. Alright. What do we have? What do we have? Hustling and a jackpot. That's a bit of on a two opposite sides of the coin. There's definitely has been a disagreement with someone. I feel with someone who you thought was important to you, right? It's a big lesson in life, you guys, how we react to disagreements and misunderstandings and conflicts with others. And ultimately, we should react in the same way, regardless who this person is. We should be respectful and considerate and compassionate towards everyone. It doesn't matter if they are the love of all your lifetimes, if they are your parents and your children, your best friends, or a customer, a colleague from work, or a stranger on the street. This actually is something that shows who we really are. And obviously we put a little bit more, which is normal and natural, a little bit more of our energy and ourselves in true soul relationships, but we shouldn't be treating poorly someone just because, oh, they're no one to me, so nobody cares. Because ultimately, like I said, it's this mindset of we're all one supreme consciousness. We're all one. We're all in this together. I see myself in you. I see myself in another. So how you approach someone that maybe you've met a few times, or has been your colleague for a couple of years, or is your child, right? We should treat everyone with the same kindness, but sometimes it's difficult to handle certain triggers when they come from someone that we really care about. I feel like whatever disagreement happened between you and this person, I feel you felt maybe an abandonment wound I'm hearing was activated within you. I feel like you felt not seen, not validated. I'm seeing a Five of Swords, so maybe they walked away from you in sort of a before the situation was resolved. Maybe they were not meeting you in the same place, and I feel like I said that this person would be someone important to you, would be someone important. So whether an actual soul tie, so someone that you considered a soulmate or someone close to you, or someone that even though you didn't, maybe, sometimes it's like we have those people that we know that this is not our soul family and this is not, our soul tie, but we look up to them. They're really important to us. We like the whole persona, right? Definitely not a random person, someone important to you. And I'm looking at this hustling and a jackpot. So I feel there may be something here money related. So maybe money was an issue, maybe money, finances was a reason for that disagreement. We're gonna clarify, but it's coming to mind. They're showing me like the situation that maybe you realize that someone treats people differently depending on their social status and financial status. There's a reason I was rambling that we should treat everyone equally. And I stand by that. We should offer the same. Who we offer to a stranger on the street really shows a lot about us, right? So again, I stand by it. Whether it's a love of your lifetime, a parent, a child, or just a customer, a friend, a colleague, a neighbor, a stranger, whether they have same view on life. I'm not even going to mention regardless of age, race, nationality, we should offer everyone the same kindness. So maybe there was someone that it's like you got a closer look to this person in a recent time, and you realized that they weren't that what you thought they were. Maybe you saw them treat someone differently depending on what they can do for them and what is their status. It's coming to my mind. Let's clarify. Overwhelmed. Well, it definitely overwhelmed you. I'm not surprised. It's a very painful thing to go through. Missed opportunities, detachment. Confusion. Whatever happened, it would definitely have you quite overwhelmed. We know this already. We had that in that Nine of Swords that was in your energy. Maybe you tried to, I feel like you made it really from the very first moment, you were trying to approach the situation with a dose of healthy detachment, with understanding, with kindness, with compassion. I feel this was something close to you, someone close to you, maybe even a family member with this responsibility card. An important part of your life. And with that missed opportunities, maybe it's someone that I feel like someone important more than definitely just a business partner, but maybe you had some sort of a joint business or a joint financial venture with this person. Disagreement on opportunities or how you could progress and move forward with that venture. And we have dishonesty. I'm going to do one more row to confirm, but we have dishonesty. There's an energy of disappointment here, you guys. It's like you realize that this person wasn't I'm not hearing honesty in the sense of straightforward lie. I'm sensing more dishonesty, lack of integrity. There's something that this person did that disappointed you, that showed you that their system of values is not really where you thought that it was. Someone, sometimes we look up to people, but in a moment of conflict, this is why they always say, right, that healing doesn't happen on healing sessions, on meditation cushions. True raw healing happens in situations of conflict, situations of disagreement, situations when someone triggers us and we are not on the same page. It is how we show up in that situation, how we communicate, how considerate we are, how empathetic we are towards, how willing we are to really understand the other person, to take the time to understand the other person. That really says a lot about who we are and where we are on our journey. And I feel whatever situation transpired, it's like this person disappointed you. You realize that their values are not where you thought that they were, that they're not as honest and embodiment of truth, I'm hearing, as you thought they were. that there is part of them that's very much ego based.